On today's show, I am breaking down your questions on the black and gold. So buckle in, guys, because it's going to be a good one. But before we do that, go ahead, do me a favor, and subscribe to the channel to join the most interactive YouTube community for Steelers fans out there. I try to keep you guys involved with these mailbags. We got the Steelers Talk live show every week. We got our live watch parties where you can come hang with Steelers fans. This is the most interactive Steelers community. You can join 100% free right now by clicking that subscribe button right now. Now let's get to Brian Love, Gold Club member here with a $10 super chat. And he says, welcome back, Chugs. Our producer, can't wait for Friday's game. How comfortable are we feeling with the safety room? So the safety room has definitely dealt with some weird things, right? Minka was gone for a little bit. Then you got Keanu Neal and Diontae KZ both getting hurt. But it seems like KZ and Neal are both getting back to that place of health that you're looking for. Looks like that they might be maybe not be playing on Friday, but they could be playing later on. And I really like the depth, I will say here, Brian. I really like Trey Norwood. I really like Kenny Robinson. They both have been making plays. Miles Killebrew, of course, is that special teams ace and special teams captain type player that he's been. And I really do like this safety room. So I feel really, really good with where the Steelers are at when it comes to the safeties there in the secondary. Then we got a question from Elliptic 6, another Gold Club member with a $10 super chat. He says, will Mike Tomlin get another contract, or does the front office go in another direction? I'm going to tell you right now, Mike Tomlin's going to get extended. Unless the Steelers are just god-awful for the next couple of years, he's going to get another contract. It's what the Rooneys do, man. If you got a really good head coach like Mike Tomlin, like they do right now, in my opinion, they're going to extend him. I think a deal is going to get done. Maybe not, anytime soon, like this season or anything like that, but it will get done. Mike Tomlin's going to be around as long as the Steelers are good. Then we got a $5 super chat from Dominic Schrader here. Says, while being at training camp, two wide receivers really stood out to me, Cody White and Hakeem Butler. I want Butler to succeed, but he just can't catch. White, though, with the eyes emojis. Now, I think that Hakeem is a little bit on and off with his hands. There's some days where you look at him and you're like, wow, what a catch, multiple splash plays, and he's looking really, really good. But then there's other days that he's having a hard time coming down with the football, hard time making contested catches. But then Cody White is somebody that's competing with Hakeem right now for a roster spot, and he's looking really, really good, man. He's looking good as a route runner. He's making the catches. Now, he hasn't gotten a whole lot of first-team reps, so it's not like he's going against our best corners, but he's got good size. I like his route running ability. He was on the practice squad last year, so he knows the offense. I like Cody White a lot there, Dominic. Then we got $20 super chat from Mo Love. He says, going to the game Friday, hoping for a win. Mo Love, man, enjoy yourself. Really hope that the Steelers end up coming away with a win. If you're not like Mo Love and you're not going to the game, you can come hang out with us here on the Steelers Talk Watch Party live here on Friday. Think about going live at 6:30, so about 30 minutes before kickoff. So make sure you click that subscribe button and turn on your notifications to not miss a single game this year. Then we got another $5 super chat from Just Webb's World 1 here. It says, JPJ did dirty by my man's Pickens. That's 100% correct. He did so good. Should we be concerned about JPJ or happy for Pickens? Also be critical. Bengals this year, Chase versus JPJ. Who you got? Now, I think that Patrick Peterson is probably going to be on Jamar Chase quite a bit this year when we play the Bengals. But in those instances, let's say JPJ is on Jamar Chase, I think Jamar Chase wins that battle right now. But I think with Joey Porter Jr. in the next couple of years, he's going to be giving Jamar Chase fits and T. Higgins fits, right? With the way that he can bully guys at the line of scrimmage, the strength that he plays with, all these different things. Jamar is just so polished in his technique right now that I think JPJ as a rookie might struggle at least a little bit, take a couple of lumps against a guy like Chase. But I'm really excited for JPJ's future. And going up against a guy like George Pickens, it's really an iron sharpens iron situation, in my opinion, and I can't wait to see those two guys grow together over the next decade. And then we got a question from Matt Canada's Burner, and he says, is there any chance a trade for Chase Young happens before the season? No, it's not going to happen. Plain and simply, the Commanders don't want to trade him. Apparently, he's looking fantastic in camp, and then it just doesn't make sense for the Steelers financially. to bring in another expensive edge rusher like Chase Young is going to be. You're already paying TJ Watt the highest annual salary for an edge rusher in the National Football League. You just gave Alex Highsmith a really big extension that's going to see his salary go up a ton in 2024. This isn't a necessary move for the Pittsburgh Steelers, so I'm going to give a hard no on a Chase Young trade before the start of the season. But let me know what you guys think down there in the comments. Should the Steelers trade for Chase Young? Give me an HY if you think hell yes, or if you think hell no, give me an HN. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. Take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question. Then we got a question from Alex Manerful here. It says, what do you think Pitt's offense points per game will be? I think 24. Now, I think 24 is a pretty decent assumption there. That's about league average, in my opinion. And I'm looking at that, and I think Matt Canada in this offense is going to do fine. I just don't think it's going to be spectacular. Unless Kenny Pickett is like an MVP caliber player, I think you're kind of limited with what you can do with Matt Canada. I think it's going to be a very run-heavy offense, which of course limits the amount of points that you can score in a game because the clock's always moving. So I think 24 is a pretty decent assumption there. I think Kenny's going to have a good year. I think George Pickens is going to break out. I think Diontae Johnson's going to have a comeback season this year. I think the Steelers' offense is going to be fine, but it's definitely going to be based on the defense and a solid run game, not necessarily the explosive nature of the offense. Then we got a question from Lazy Sharky. He says, who do you guys think will be the starting fullback this season? Because I thought it would have been Cam Heyward. Oh, I think he means Connor Heyward. But with the Kendrick Green playing reps at fullback, I don't know anymore. And it's very possible, Lazy Sharky, that they end up going with both, right? Because Connor Heyward is a tight end as well as a potential fullback. And Kendrick Green is the backup center along with being a fullback as well. So they might carry both of those guys on the roster. And Kendrick Green can kind of be the thunder, you know, the refrigerator, if you're familiar with the 85 Bears, right? With the refrigerator getting in there, the big boy coming in there on those short yardage situations, having that athletic big body that can just get those 2 or 3 yards on those 3rd and 1s, 3rd and shorts, all those different things. And then Connor Heyward can be the fullback that can be like the receiving weapon, you know, somebody that can go out there and be like the Kyle Juszczyk kind of figure in this offense. I think that'd be a great way for Matt Canada to use them, and I'm definitely excited to see how these guys utilize the fullback here in the preseason. Then we got one for KP for MVP. He says, if Pickett stinks this year, do you give him another chance next year with a new offensive coordinator or move on from him? You know, I think it depends on how bad we're talking about here. Like if he's the worst quarterback in the league, bottom 3 quarterback in the league, then I think you might want to look at some other options. But I mean, Matt Canada is probably going to be the reason why this offense stinks if it does in fact stink. So I'm looking at that situation. KP is still relatively young. As long as, you know, there isn't like an obvious answer on the free agent or trade or draft area, I'm sticking with Kenny Pickett. I think Kenny has a pretty bright future. I don't think it's going to get to that point. I think he's going to have a pretty good season this year. But if it happens, I think that you have to keep your mind open. But now be honest with me down in the comments section. What is your confidence level in Kenny Pickett and Matt Canada's offense right now? Put it on a scale of 1 to 10 for me down there in the comment section. I can't wait to see how you're feeling about this dynamic between the quarterback and the offensive coordinator. All right, now we got a question from Mimic Tarzier, I think is how you pronounce it, 235, and he says, how many years you think Cam has left in him? I still think at least a good 3 or 4. I think that he really loves football. I think that he's still at the top of his game. And I don't think he's going to stop until A, he doesn't like it anymore, and or B, he's just not good enough. And I don't see any of those things waning in the next couple of years. I think a lot of people are kind of looking at him, and he's getting older, and he's like, you know, we might be coming to the end of the road here. And I think the Steelers need to be prepared for that whenever it does happen. But with a guy like Cam, as talented as he is, as experienced and as smart as he is, I think he can play another 3-4 years pretty easily. Then we got a question from Austin Reich here, and he says, with what the GM did with the Chase Claypool trade last year that turned into Joey Porter Jr., who do you think he will trade this year for more draft picks, if anyone? I'm not sure what the ending of that question is. But I'm looking, Austin, I'm trying to think, maybe Patrick Peterson, maybe if the team stinks this year. I really, really don't know, man. There's not really like an obvious guy where it's like, if the Steelers are bad this year, you need to trade this player, right? Like all the big potential free agents, like Alex Highsmith, got that big deal done this year. So I really don't know. Maybe a Mitchell Trubisky, I guess we'll see. Diontae Johnson, maybe if he's really not playing all that well, or if George Pickens is playing amazing and he's just not getting the ball, I guess maybe Diontae Johnson. But, I really don't see the Steelers selling players this year like they did last year at the trade deadline, but I guess we'll have to see on that point. Then we got a question from Nothing here. He says, what week does Broderick Jones start? Good question, Nothing. I think this one's tough because I like Dan Moore Jr. I think he's a pretty darn solid pass protector. Not a great run blocker, but, I've been saying this for weeks. Once Broderick Jones is ready to play, the Steelers are going to play him. It's just a matter of when Broderick gets to that point. And for me to project that, it's going to be really tough. But I think by mid-season is probably a pretty good projection. By week 8, week 9, somewhere in that range, Broderick Jones will probably be the starting left tackle for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then we got a $10 super chat from my man, Mo Love, Gold Club member here. Says, so you think there be any more signings prior to the new season? And which spots needs to be filled the best? Now, if I'm being completely honest with you, Mo Love, I really like our roster the way it is right now. And if everybody stays healthy, I really don't see the Steelers adding anyone significant, right? I really like the depth that they have at safety right now. They just added a couple players to safety, actually. Linebacker, I think, is now a really, really nice group of guys that can play and guys that have played in this league. All the things that they needed to address before the start of the season, I think they've done a really, really good job. So personally, man, my answer for you is I don't think they make a single move. I don't think that unless there's like a big injury, someone gets hurt, which is of course possible, I just don't think it's going to end up happening that way. And I think the Steelers are very, very happy with where they're at right now. So go ahead and like today's video if you want to help out the channel. We put a ton of work into these videos, giving you guys the best damn Steelers content here, absolutely free here on YouTube. So if you want to help us out here and be a little generous today, go ahead and click that thumbs up icon right now. Then we got a question from Steel Curtain, who says, who's a player that has pleasantly surprised you through the first days of training camp? Braden Fajoku. Big time, man. If you remember my reaction video to them signing Fajoku, I was like, this guy's kind of stinks. Like, this guy's not very good. Because I've watched the tape, and last year he got bullied around quite a bit. But this offseason, you can tell he's put on some poundage. He's really gotten stronger, and now he's commanding double teams in the run game, and he's not giving a single inch. He is a legit NFL nose tackle right now, and he has been a huge surprise for me and a very pleasant one at that. I think he's going to be a really good nose tackle for the Steelers this year. Then we got a question from Dominic. He says, do you think TJ Watt will beat the sack record this season? I mean, that's tough. I think he can. I think that he's one of, if not the best pass rusher when he's healthy in the National Football League. And he could certainly have another fantastic season and approach that number. But, it's going to be really tough, man. So I'm going to have to say no if I'm going to be a betting man. I wouldn't advise you to bet that he does. But would it surprise me if a guy like TJ Watt, one of the best pass rushers in NFL history, ended up getting there this year? It wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. Now, that'll be it for today's show, guys. Really do appreciate all the support. Make sure you click that subscribe button and turn on your notifications because we have daily content here on the channel. We go live twice a week for the game, and then also for a separate live show in the middle of the week. So you're really not going to want to miss that. So do me a favor, click that subscribe button right now.